And starting to the bottom left of the map, we have once again the Winging Stars player with a 1-0 lead in the best of 5 series. It is
Wongjin Stars Soki from Korea.
Solki, as mentioned before, has already played a ZVZ yesterday. He was successful against TLO, the German player, with a 2-0. Didn't drop a single map, and his opponent is starting to the top right.
And in the top right,
we have... He is...
Samsung Ken Ro8 from Korea.
Sick job, Kaldor. Yeah, you know, I want to talk about Solki real quick about yesterday. He actually made everyone look bad. He played so much better than his opponents. It was like silly. Like it was actually like he was trying to help me give a lesson on how to play a theoretically perfect game. Like he did everything exactly right. And so far, man, here he is against Ro8, kind of doing the same. Is Solki? Well, I guess he is the best in the world because he just won GSL. But I mean, is he going to just go through and win this tournament? Imagine if we have the Innovation Solki Finals again. That is not unrealistic.
I would love that. I would really love that to happen, to be honest with you. The rematch between the two of them. But you know, the one really impressive thing is that Solki is now once again ahead in the ZVZ. And you talked a bit about his performance yesterday and how dominant he was in the group. But Ro8, when you look at his Zerg versus Zerg, yesterday he crushed everyone. Revival with a 2-1, he won against Dimaga with a 2-0. And then you look at his history, the offline history in ZVZ in the Heart of the Swarm, and you realize that that guy only lost 2 maps so far. He has an 83 win ratio regarding the maps against some of the best players in the entire world. But Solki is 88% in the same matchup in offline environments, taking down opponents like Effort, Hydra, S2, Solar. The only map that he dropped is actually against Jaedong. And that was already
just going
like
to say,
2 months
these are
ago.
Jaedong stats is what we're hearing right here. Jaedong StarCraft 1 ZVZ stats.
It is crazy how good they are in this matchup.
Yeah. You know, one thing I've noticed about Solki is he goes pool first like every time. Like he had a bunch of games to look at where TLO was going to hatch first all the time. He still goes pool first. And here he is against Ro8 going pool first. And what that tells me, because we were talking about this before, that's really the safest of the 3. This just tells me that he's so confident in outplaying his opponent the longer the game goes that he's like, I'll take the bad end of it. That's fine as long as I can't die early.
It's actually a really smart move, and it just shows, as he said, his confidence in this matchup and his abilities just to play the longer game here. His decision-making is so good, but as we mentioned, Ro8 isn't a pushover, so Solki, yes, he has the lead with the 1-0 going into the series, but he can't be overconfident, Solki that is. Ro8 is a player who can definitely bounce back. He has shown it several times, and he is the former champion, and as you said, the 2 GSL champions going against each other here.
Yeah, it's a pretty exciting thing. It's not every day that you get to see a bunch of champions fight, right? Because there's only so many tournaments and not everyone's in the same leagues and stuff, but in this type of GSL format, to see all these champions come together from different regions, it's pretty fantastic. It's almost like an all-star match for a ton of money in WCS points.
That's definitely true. The WCS points also very important here. The players, even if you drop out as the last in the group, you still receive 500 WCS points. TLO, who got third in his group, my bad, he received 750.
Wow.
And 750 WCS points is the exact same amount that Lino got for winning.
Yeah, I was going to say. And then don't forget that TLO made it pretty deep in DreamHack too. I think he picked up some WCS points there as well. Yep. So, I mean, he has to be doing... Does that put him in the lead for Europe?
No, Jürgen is in the lead.
The lead for Europeans?
Yeah.
Okay. Because that's what I was thinking.
Hey,
okay, anyways.
Sorry, you Americans claim Stefano, we claim MVP now.
Yeah, I guess that's fine. I guess that's how things work.
You know what we see here, actually? I'm a little bit interested in what is happening right now, because what we have for Solki is once again the speed and the Baneling Nest. And what Ro8 did is he accumulated a lot of gas, but he doesn't use it at all. And I'm actually really interested to see what's going on here, because he doesn't have a Baneling Nest, he doesn't have speed started, he's just going straight into the Roach Warren here with the double upgrades. So there's a bit of a timing for Solki to actually do damage against this, and I want to see how Ro8 is going to defend. Well, he has 4 queens, so that helps him a lot.
Yeah, I'm not sure that he's actually going to do damage. I think this is more of a poke than anything else. But this setup with the multiple queens and the spine crawler and that nice wall, I don't see him really getting anything done. He may try to just run by into the drones, but...
He needs a lucky hit here, that's definitely right. Yeah. The queens will help him so much, but that is the interesting part. Look at how well he blocks with those additional evolution chambers here. And it's something that you see very rarely, a player completely skipping the banelings, but here they go,
Oh
and they move
God.
in!
What?
Oh
I can't
my
believe
God.
that he just squeezed in there.
10,
And
12 Harvesters killed.
wow.
That is exactly what Soulkey needed, but I cannot believe that Ro8 actually let that happen.
You know that X-Men movie where the Senator is forced to turn into a mutant and he goes through the bars?
Oh, yeah.
That's what Soulkey just did right there. That was like, everything was so tight. I'm like, okay, now turn around. And he's like, nope, I'm going to go for it. I'm like, oh, you're going to go through that first hole with the banelings. Nope, I'm going to go in the second hole. I'm going to create.
But let's be honest here for a second, that should not have happened.
No.
I loved Ro8's setup here. Not only the wall that we have at the front, the spine crawler in such a crucial position, and then he builds the best SimCity ever with the Roach Warren blocking the units behind the mineral patches. He has 4 queens, and he was going into this game thinking, okay, well, usually it's really tough to actually just skip speed, skip the banelings, but I can do this. I get the extra queens out there, I have my spine crawler, and with my SimCity, I'm safe. But he leaves this small gap, and the queens are just a second too late to stop it, and suddenly Soulkey gets 10 drone kills, and this is incredible, of course, for the Woongjing Stars player.
Yeah, but, you know, Ro8, he's not down and out yet. They're still pretty close overall. You know, he did a more mineral-intensive opener. He had a few more queens. He got those Evos up quicker. So he's actually getting his upgrades a little bit quicker. His third base is going to be just slightly slower, but they're both going Roach. This isn't Mutalisk from pre-patch, where getting that expansion up a little bit quicker actually just guarantees you a victory or something.
Yeah, you're
this
definitely
is
right.
definitely still anyone's game.
Soulkey did the damage that he had to do, and Ro8 was trying to skip all this, so the damage that Soulkey has done was quite significant, but he also invested into a lot of things that Ro8 skipped, and therefore he starts to equalize a little bit more. We're going as we speak now in those double upgrades, and Ro8 is already starting his +2/+2, so he's really trying to win this game by getting an upgrade lead over his opponent.
And it's a good way to do it. You know, when you take a bit of damage in the early game, the smarter thing is to make the game a little bit longer. Instead of trying to push a tiny advantage, you can gain ground against your opponent over the long term. If you have a little upgrade advantage, make that go longer. Fight with better upgrades for longer and get better upgrades after that.
I love the faster burrow upgrade here for Ro8 that helps him to regenerate hit points on those roaches later on. And also, Soulkey has completed 1-1. We don't see +2/+2 just yet, and every second counts here. If Ro8 gets those double upgrades, the window for him is just increasing every second that Soulkey doesn't start his next set of upgrades here.
By the way, that poke by Ro8 was pretty awesome because he had nowhere near the number of roaches that Soulkey had. He was actually down by about 10, but he still came up. That's like, you know, when a bear's attacking, you're supposed to act like you're bigger than you are. You're supposed to open your jacket and hold it up and stuff. That's what he just actually did to Soulkey there. And it was nice because now Soulkey has made a ton of units. And if Ro8 can sit back defensively and wait for 2-2, he will crush the battle. But if he has to engage before then, Soulkey has an edge with all these roaches.
He's trying to hold the gap here, and he's also now transitioning into Hydras. We already have the range started, and he's trying to get those units out. The composition will definitely be a better one for Ro8, but now Soulkey has the better numbers, and he's moving in, trying to force this battle, trying to get the better concave here. The Queen lending strength to the attack.
And it looks like there's just too many roaches right now for Soulkey. Ro8 may want to just sacrifice this. He's trying to just buy time while he has more roaches building. His +2 attack is almost done. He's losing a lot of roaches, though.
Soulkey is trying to snipe that hatch, and he has a lot more numbers than roaches. 32 against 17. Where are those Hydralisks? They're finally arriving, but it might be a little bit too late. All the meat shield is already gone. Most of the roaches are destroyed. There comes the transfuse. Ro8 doing everything that he can. He's trying to get those units out, but +2/+2 is still not done.
Well, it's almost done here, and he does have more units rallying out. Because of the length of distance that Soulkey has to travel with reinforcements, we might see a hold here.
Yeah, he just holds.
When he has Hydra Roach, and 2-2 against 1-1, he actually might end up being okay, even though Soulkey did a really good job there.
Yeah, they traded very well here, and of course with this hold, Ro8 is suddenly in the better position. He's still behind in the roach numbers, but he has the much better tech, and +2/+2 has kicked in, so now suddenly Soulkey finds himself in a very awkward position. He's on 1-1, and he doesn't have the Hydralisks. This attack was supposed to do a lot of damage, but Ro8 in the end traded very cost efficiently, even though he lost the Hydras.
Yeah, that was actually really close. Luckily for Ro8, you know, he had those queens, he used the surface area around there very well, and of course his hatchery's right there, so he got to rally in all his reinforcements instantly. So now that 2-2, that Hydralisk tech all of that is really going to kick in, and he's going to have by far a better army heads up.
What also comes into play is the burrow upgrade that Ro8 really uses now to regain the hit points on all of those roaches that were committed to the fight earlier. And he is going into speed, so he will try to hit a timing here. The range is done for his Hydralisks. He has all the cards now. He can really play this game and decide when to engage, when to attack. He has everything that he needs at this point.
That is right. Well, now we have to see what does Sulky do here to negate his disadvantage. He has quite a while before he catches up on upgrades, and in fact, he's only started +2 missile attacks, so he's skipping the carapace altogether. Now, we know that Ro8 is probably going to push out at some point and try to push this advantage. So Sulky is probably going to have to run around and use mobility against him. You know, maybe a few counterattacks here and there. Try to keep Ro8 back while Sulky makes up for his deficiencies.
What you can try to pull off, but it's usually in this scenario is not really something that works. If your opponent overcommits to Hydralisks, Banelings are a really good move to go for. But it usually doesn't really happen because you just can't squeeze past those roaches. That's your biggest problem. And just hoping on that flank is just... it's just gambling way too much. So mobility and trying to use that run by, that's what he's hoping for. And he already damaged the hatch quite significantly. So if he is able to just move past Ro8's army, he might snipe the third.
Yeah, that could be nice. But let's not forget, too, that Sulky can just sit in a defensive position till he feels like the game is a little bit more even or maybe even back in his favor. The thing is, Ro8 has that upgrade advantage and is now going into the infestation pit. So I don't see him losing the little advantage that he has right now, but that advantage is getting smaller as we see this +2 missile attacks about to finish.
Yeah, it's definitely getting smaller, and he had a timing window here, but of course he has only limited vision of the map. We know a lot more than he does, and at this point, a few links in the main base of Ro8 by Sulky are just confirming what is happening here, trying to find out if there is additional attack. And Ro8 and Sulky still playing a little bit passive here. We have Lings running by, trying to do damage to the economy, but neither one of the players really wants to engage right now. Ro8 decided to sit tight, not hit the timing, go into the Hive Tech as the first of the two players, and then start not only the fourth, but also go into 3-3.
Yeah, this is going to be pretty cool, actually. I'm excited to see exactly what he gets with this Hive Tech. Of course, it's going to open up level 3 upgrades if he likes. I would love to see someone actually use Vipers in this situation.
Oh, it would be pretty awesome. Blinding Cloud?
Yeah, exactly. If you throw some Blinding Clouds down, they're going to have to run right into you. But the converse of that, they can back up behind the Blinding Cloud, and you can't attack them from there. So I'm not exactly sure what we're going to see, because, again, this patch is new, and we haven't had any super high-level ZVZs, and literally this is the highest level ZVZ that you could find right now in StarCraft 2.
It definitely is. Ro8 posturing around a little bit, being the more aggressive player, and this works very well for him since he's trying to get that fourth base and the edge in economy. Also the Hive Tech about to be completed. He also drops another macro hatch, so he really will have no problem with the lava, trying to work up that bank. The same is true for Sulky, but we will have the additional gas for Ro8 in just a few seconds, and that's going to give him a huge edge, trying to just max out later on after the next battle. And here we have another again, moving in, trying to just bait out that fight.
Yeah, this is actually looking really good for Ro8. Sulky coming up, he has a lot of Hydras in there, and that's going to give him a higher damage output, but he has less tanking, and he goes right into the concave. He's got to be careful about that. Backs up. Yeah. The thing is, Kaldor, right now Ro8 has that gigantic gas bank. He can remax on any type of unit that he wants.
Exactly, and he's getting the extra gas now. We have him with a huge concave once again. This is a battle of position. Both players just trying to draw the opponent's forces into a concave. It doesn't really work out too much for either one of them. Nobody really wants to commit here, but Ro8 is now using a lot of the minerals that he has to save this fourth base. He knows that Sulky doesn't have a fourth, and he's going into 3-3, so he's getting all the advantages here if he can just buy himself a little bit more time.
Oh my god, and look at this. Ro8 trying to actually run away and getting caught in the back there. It's okay for him to lose those units, though, because he does have that big bank. He's running back right now to his new spine crawlers, knowing that he's getting 3-3 right now, and Sulky is not. So he wants to get back into that upgrade advantage.
He's already building up the concave roller that is just waiting for Sulky to engage. And the Wounding Stars player, he knows that he has to do something. He's trying to move in, but there's Ro8 trying to defend. He also has the defender's advantage. He will have those units faster. The reinforcements building 20 roaches at a time, still waiting for 3-3. The Spine Crawler's helping out so much right now.
Yeah, certainly are, and in fact, he does have good surface area here. Those creep tumors giving him vision as well. You cannot forget Sulky backing up and taking the best of every fight that he possibly can. but Ro8 just won't be broken right now, even if Sulky is taking these fights better at the beginning.
And Sulky still doesn't have a 4th base, and he has no infestation pit, he has no hive tech. He knows that this is the chance that he has. He has to do damage right now. Playing the catch-up game at this point in time is not something that is going to work.
Well, Sulky continuing to try to push in. He is trying to end a Kaldor, but it looks like Ro8 has a much better army right here. This is kind of sloppy from Sulky to think he'd have more supply right now than Ro8. And Ro8 pushing through before he even has that 3-3.
Sulky's expiration date is up. GG, Ro8 moves in and takes it. He has the 3-3 upgrades on the way. He has the 4th base. Ro8 knows that he can't catch up with that and leaves the game, and we have a tie.
Really well played there by Ro8. He really took the advantage every single time. Even when Sulky ran up, he hit the perfect timing attack with those roaches and just barely couldn't break Ro8. And then from there on, we actually had advantages for Ro8 throughout the game, and he was so smart to just keep those advantages and push them little by little forward.
The one thing that really won Ro8 the game where he got his biggest advantage was when he was able to hold his 3rd base while he was going into the +2/+2. That was where he really started to shine, especially the Hydralisks. Much faster tech here. The upgrades gave him the safety that he needed. He took the 4th base later on, and then he brought it into the next game with the tie situation. We're having a short break, and as soon as we are back, guys, we're heading into game number 3 between Ro8 and Sulky here at the WCS Season 1 Finals in Korea.